move on with this news that came out of nowhere. And it literally was one day they have a meet. From what I can gather, they have a meeting, and it said they tell the students and the staff that you have. First, I heard it was until August, and then it's the end of June, and now it's tomorrow. If you want some try and be morally right or whatever, and I'm not saying that morally right stuff that King was talking about. Right. That's different. I'm not talking about that, because ain't no way you putting women and the kids in front of water hoses and police dogs, and they don't give a damn. Excuse me. I'm a teacher, and if I'm not teaching your children, people have a right to come and say, "Hey, look, man, you're not doing what I need you to do for my child." But you have to be involved too, right? So you can't tell me as a parent, unless you're involved, that you're not doing my child right. I need y'all to correlate this to what's going on around here as well. You can't tell me I'm not doing your child right if you're not involved in the child's life on all levels. The issue that it is now is blatant in everybody's face. Yeah. It's blatant in everybody's face. So we're not sitting there talking about what can we do for residents. We don't care nothing about the residents.
Never about the residents.
It's never about the residents. And the issue that people are having that I see, and they still won't let me come down to the council. When I'm out of school, I'm just going to go. Be out of school in a couple weeks. I'm just going to come to one. I don't care. All right. Good afternoon, family. Thank you very much. This is Big Brother Mickey Jordan, the producer who's the most. Brother Elliott, and I see my girl just won't put the X on there, man. She's not really, she don't love me no more. That's all right. Thank you, though. Brother Elliott McCants. This is Black Watch, and this is what we're going to start to call Truthful Tuesday. All right. So we're just going to jump in, because it's a lot, right? And a lot of people always want to call things conspiratorial, or their conspiracy theories or whatever. And this one is going to sound like, what up? Oh, no games. What up, though? He must be from the D. This is going to sound like a conspiracy theory show, and what it is, right? But we have to also understand that there's a lot of truth behind those things as well. And we don't want to sound like conspiracy theorists, but we're trying to unravel the truth behind all of these things that we hear all the time, right? So thank you, Miss Luna, telling me. Good afternoon, family. Good evening, family. We appreciate y'all joining and taking time with us today. We appreciate it. So the first thing I would like for somebody, because I want to make this a little bit more interactive than we normally have, is I want to need somebody to come up with what's a definition of a gatekeeper is. A gatekeeper.
That's a good one.
All right, let's start with that.
Yeah, gatekeeper.
What's a gatekeeper? Come on now. Not you, bro. I want somebody else to do it. You can.
You said me. What's the definition of a gatekeeper?
Yeah, if you want to, just jump in.
Oh no, I was waiting on the chat to give me a definition of a gatekeeper.
Okay, yeah, come on, chat. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Deborah Luna said keeping the secrets.
Okay, that's part of it.
I think me personally, what we see as gatekeeping is how the community, how our community is, and I believe it's just the people. Me, like keeping the ones who getting money, like who already getting stuff like they click. I think to me that's what like gatekeeping, where they'll keep the situation going. Long as they crew get money, where they'll try to stop other people from coming up if you're not in their crew. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
Little mama said a person that control a person or thing.
Okay.
Okay, Lumi said keeping you away from success by any means necessary.
Personal protection narrative. And she finally put that X on there, baby. I love you. Appreciate it. Okay, good. So, Sister Kiel, those are all excellent definitions, right? Because a gatekeeper is a person or
Mm,
thing that controls access to someone or something.
mm.
So so keep that definition in mind as we move through what, and I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff out there. So hopefully y'all are, it's being recorded, right?
Right. It's live.
Okay. All right. Well, Miss Williamson, well, I'm not black, but I'm asking to be heard tonight on 18 bump, please. Shall we entertain that?
Oh, Miss Gladys. Okay,
Yeah.
Miss Gladys.
Go ahead on. Let's go ahead, Miss Gladys. Go ahead. What is it that you want to share? Right, because we're family, no matter what. And even though it may seem that I'm talking about, and a lot of the stuff that I am talking about is particular to a particular race. You're absolutely right. Because at the end in the world, one race suffers more than any other race. Let's be real clear about that. But anyway, we're still family. So go ahead on. What is it that you want to offer? Delegate Sandy, who was that?
Delegate. Oh, the one that got arrested last night.
Somebody got arrested yesterday?
Yeah, and her daughter that was 15 years old. Yeah, she got arrested last night. So I really don't like talking about it, man, because I get in trouble.
Okay. So
I
I'm gonna
go to
tell you
speak
what,
about it.
since I don't know what the context is, I can't speak on it. But maybe between now and Sunday, I'll keep listening in on, and then I'll talk to Uncle Mick, and then we'll be able to speak on it. Okay, is that fine?
Yeah, no, I can tell you. I'm just saying when I speak on it because it's called you got to call people out. So when you go to calling people out, you know, I get in trouble that way
Okay.
because
Well, this is Truthful Tuesday, so
yeah. I
it
mean,
is.
I'll
It
be
is what
honest
it
with you
is.
because I was there, but I had to leave. But Winters was there for the whole show. But when I came back, Delegate Sandy was because we played some of the video on earlier on the show on the
Okay. Yeah,
bump.
I missed it. Right.
She got arrested. Her daughter got arrested because really, from what I'm gathering, that her daughter number got skipped. They shut down public speaking when it was their turn to speak. I mean, her daughter. So she was speaking up for her daughter, and her daughter was basically saying, "Look, y'all skipped us." Now I don't know how you skip somebody, or is that the new legal thing to do now?
Well, so then let me say this though: if I got skipped, right, and it was my turn,
Mm-hmm.
then what I would do is be patient and come back the next time instead of
No, they
because
closed
you
it down.
right. That's fine. Then come back on next Monday or Tuesday or next Wednesday or whatever.
No, they
You
done for a
understand what I'm
month. They
saying?
on vacation.
Okay, so then I wait, and that just give me more ammunition.
But I think they doing it on purpose.
Of
What
course
God
they
did,
are.
yeah, I think they
Yeah.
them doing that. They did it on purpose. That's like to me what is dangerous for Davina. And believe me, I got respect for Davina, but that's dangerous when y'all can skip people now.
Right.
Like if we don't want to hear from them, they won't get spoke to. Like
Right. Okay, but that's
you
okay.
know,
But you know what you do? We said it before. Okay. And yes, we're absolutely being targeted. What do? Okay, now you're arresting me, and you're arresting me for standing up for my First Amendment rights. What did Brother Jedediah do? He filed a lawsuit. Jam the courts up. Stop acting new. That's kind of like, okay, well, you want to arrest me for me wanting to have hold up my First Amendment rights to be able to speak here. You
yeah.
shut it down. Not a problem. When are you going to be back in session? I'll wait. And if people get belligerent, then you're playing into their hands. right? And that's what
Mm-hmm.
as we're trying to define the gatekeeper, right? Is I'm not allowing you to have access to something. That's fine. I'll wait my time. That means I get the plot, and if I only get 3 minutes, that means I got more stuff to add in the 3 minutes than what I thought of the first time. Now, if you take me down because I'm belligerent,
Mm-hmm.
then you're playing into their hands because you already know that they're playing this power play thing. So why play into it? So just back yourself. I ain't. Oh, if I go, no problem. You take me away from me making money. You take me out. Okay, not a problem. I got you. But guess what? When I come back, you got something else to deal with. See, that's the other part of what we have to do, even with the hurt and the disrespect that people are feeling, is you also have to have some decorum, right? So now all of a sudden they want to run things strict and tight instead of saying you can say what you want to. Now they want to run stuff strict and tight. Play the game. So okay, so we're gonna be strict and tight. So we're gonna do it this way. Okay. So we play the game, and so instead of we're going to go ahead on and allow them to dictate. Okay, well, what we're not going to do is you're not dictating anything. And if you throw me out, no, is it right? Was it right for the young lady to yell according to what I'm reading here or seeing here? No, okay, no, she shouldn't have done it. But she was upset and wanted her opportunity to speak. It didn't happen. So now what people need to do is I see somebody talking about rallying and having people come and speak on her behalf and things like that. Go ahead on. Do it. Do it. Absolutely. You have to. You have to. And get people to go and rally and gather and whatever about whatever's necessary in order to get things right. But if they're going on vacation, so therefore it's going to be a little bit of time before she has the opportunity to speak at that point in time. Does that make sense? Or hopefully that helps. And I'm not clear how the world why in the world she got arrested, even though she might have sounded like she was belligerent. Like I'm arrested. No, I just go, come on, baby, let's step out.
But, but to me, and not to cut you
No,
off,
no, no. Go ahead, brother.
you got some officers that be like, look, I ain't gonna want to arrest you.
Right.
But then you got some who can't wait to come do their job.
Well,
And they're gonna do it well. But see, to me, it's like this is like some man, like you say, this is not conspiratorial, but to me, this is like this is done purposely.
yeah, yeah.
Where you can see where they want the police and they want the residents to be into it. Because basically, that's what
But that's bringing chaos, right?
right.
Okay. So then if you bring chaos, then what can I do? Right? Remember at the very beginning of the water crisis, who was here? Who's passing out water? Not
Uh,
people in that were the residents. They called the National Guard.
right.
Because people were saying, remember that?
Yeah, and then they started letting.
But then later on, they started to hire residents to
Right.
pass the water out. But why would you call a National Guard? Because people were upset. So you figure if you call a National Guard who were here fully armed,
Yeah.
who were fully armed, not with rubber bullets either, might I add,
Live ammo.
live ammo, and walking around the streets passing out water. But they were also knocking on doors, arresting people too. Remember that? So what was the point of even having them here if it wasn't what people thought that it was? Okay. Now, back to the gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a little tour of history, right? So some people may know who the Masons are, and for those of you all that don't know, George Washington, first president, was a Mason.
Mm-hmm.
But Masonry, the idea of Masonry, started a long time ago, but it didn't start how people think that it did, but it just turned into something else. Okay. So Masons started out as people who were building buildings, right? They were the bricklayers and building buildings in old England and old Ireland, right? So as they started to understand that they were building these great cathedrals and these homes and all this other stuff that they were building, what they were trying to do then at that point was to say, okay, we need to unionize so that nobody can come in and take our jobs and our positions. And that's how the so-called the Masons started. They were started as a union. What did they start out with? They had two groups, right? And even if you deal with people today that are Masons, they'll either be Scottish Rites or British Rites. Those are the two. Prince Hall comes and he wants to be part of the Masonry, but they reject him because of his color. So he starts the Prince Hall Masons. And I want to say he does the Scottish Rites because the British were the ones that rejected him. Okay. Now, at every building, there's what they call a cornerstone. And that cornerstone is marked. But Masonry is one of the first so-called secret societies that started in England. Oh, okay. So see, there you go. Okay. So they started in England, and that's how when they had their meetings, quote unquote, they would come up with this secret code for the brotherhood that were part of the Masonic order, so that they knew, okay, well, I knew such and such, uh, the family of Mickey Jordan is part of the group, and they have access to certain things that other people don't, right? Now, their claim is that they go back to ancient Kemet, but they don't. Their claim is that they've gone back far enough and were part of the builders of the pyramids, but they weren't because they never existed at that time. That doesn't mean that they're not gatekeepers of some different knowledge and order that we don't have privy to and we don't have access to because you're not in the loop, you're not in the group. So with Prince, like I said, with Prince Hall, what he did was he started talking about we're going to build our own Masonic hall for people of African descent because we weren't being see the Scottish right. Okay, good. Thank you very much for that clarity. Right, and it's very distinct because of his African element. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Herbert. But secret societies have always played a role in the world from the beginning of time, even in ancient Kemet. Okay. In other West African societies as well, there are secret societies, right? So there are some that are called the Oro or Gelade or Ogboni, and unless you're part of that clan that get initiated into those rites, you may heard of them, but you don't know what their secrets are. So let me break it down a little bit closer. Women, and we kind of see this as women talk about our girl trips and this and that and other and all this other stuff. women have their own, do their own thing, right? Like, your wife will go with the sister and the daughters, and they take their trip. That's kind of a secret because we really don't care nothing about what they got going on because ain't none of our business. Kind of, sort of, the starter cliques, kind of. But these are a little bit different. These are a little bit more fraternal or paternal or what's the word for women? Women is fraternal. Men is fraternal, and women have soror societies, right? Or in some cases, Miss Williamson, Eastern Stars, especially if we're talking about women of color who are the sisters of the Mason men, but they're called Eastern Stars. And in some sects, like the Shriners, it may be something more. I don't know. We're just laying out the foundation for Truthful Tuesday. Okay, so hopefully it won't take a long time for us to get to some of the other stuff. But okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But so we're trying to lay a foundation for this, like we laid the foundation for Sunday morning Black Talk, Black Watch. We're trying to do the same thing for Black Watch's Truthful Tuesday. Okay. See, there we go. Now we back. Right. So the Northern Stars, which I believe deal with the Shriners, and the Eastern Stars that deal with the Masons, um, the Shriners are, and I believe they're Black Shriners. Uh, um, well, we're not going to get into their evil or not evil, because every group has a gatekeeper, has a set of gatekeepers. All right, so let's be clear about that. And one person that I want y'all, and we're going to come, there are two people I'm going to mention. One person who passed away in 2012 was one of my brothers. I met him a couple times. We got along. His name is Steve Coakley, Cokeley. Steve Coakley. Go check him out on YouTube. You can see some of his stuff on YouTube before he got sick and passed away. Back in 2012, I think it was, Brother Mick. And another brother that I've run across, his name is Bishop Larry Gaithers, Gaithers. He's on YouTube. So he talks about all of these groups that are gatekeepers as well. So I'm not talking about fraternities and sororities, but many times if people are involved in those groups, whether they know it or not, they're gatekeepers for something else. That's right. He was absolutely friends with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. You're absolutely right, little mama. Okay. So I have a couple of books here. But before we get into that, brother Steve Coakley's idea was, hey, we're talking about the boule. Mm-hmm. And the boule is considered to be like a siphoning of the talent and tenth. And the talent and tenth was supposed to be people that were developed by Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois to be the vanguard to help other people who were just coming out of the period of enslavement and that horrible situation to raise up through education and raise up through knowledge and raise up through that's right, he certainly did. Raise up through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and no longer be considered to be I don't want to say dumb. That's not really ignorant, because they were forced to be ignorant, right? They were forced, so it was something different, and they were, the energy and information and things like that were kept from them on purpose. So but what happened with the talent and tenth It's their energy and their knowledge and wisdom and understanding get used and they turn that into something else. And that's where you have the beginning in the early to mid 1900s. You had the beginnings of fraternal orders and sorority orders, right? We have women who have orders, we have men who have orders. The issue that Brother Coakley had was that they were not doing the bidding of the people anymore, right? So I have a couple of books here, and you all may want to try and see if you can purchase them. One book is called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. And I read this book probably back in the 70s or 80s, early 80s. And then it just called on me to pick it up and read it again sometime last year. And this brother talks about how families in war situations were using their money to back both sides of wars, and of any wars. And it's called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. Another book that if you just want to read, whether it's not about whether you believe it or not, because everything's got something in it that's important, it's got some truth in it, is called Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, who was at one time a general in the Army. Okay. Put the name in the chat. Okay. So can we do that? Can you do that, big bro?
Mhm.
Okay, here they are right here. I got about 5 books over here. Okay. So he gonna put them in the chat for us. All right. And I got that third book. I got another copy, and I'm gonna bring that in to you. So you'll have a copy because I got an extra one. So the first book I talked about, None Dare Call It Conspiracy. The idea is that these families, the Bilderbergs, Rothschilds, all these other families, have these meetings, and these meetings have been recorded. Red flags.
What happened?
Miss Luna said that she put up about 5 red flags.
Oh, I was trying to put it in the chat.
Okay, Miss Malone. Okay, we apologize for
now.
something that happened to you. We apologize to you for that. And many times, what we'll learn is that when people are part of these fraternal orders, and some of them have been called the Divine Nine, which that's our next show when we come back for Truthful Tuesday to see and build the connections between these families and these fraternities and sororities.
That's book one.
Okay, so you put it in there. The Council of Nicaea, that's 325 AD. That's a little different. That's a little different. That's the Council of Nicaea is something different. When we go back and talk about the development of religion, then we'll bring that up. That's going to be the first thing on there. But these gatekeepers are people that are put in position, of course, as we said, to not allow everybody to have access to the things that they have access to. The boule, according to Brother Coakley, was created by other entities outside of the Talented Tenth, who their job was to control the narrative for everybody else. Now, if we follow Brother Coakley, then it's like, well, you got these groups of people who are doing these things and they get particular benefits from being the watchdogs for these other families and these other groups of people. Now, that's a problem because many times you have fraternal orders that people feel that you should live and die for. Now, I don't have an issue with being part of a fraternal order if that's what you choose to do, but it's not going to supersede me helping my family. whether it be my own personal children or whether it be my family. That's you all are part of my family, whatever, and whomever. So I'm not going to let their ideology supersede my. Or well, do you pledge an oath to? Yeah, I do. But guess what? My oath is bigger than that. That's me. It's not everybody else. My oath is about 6 billion people, and that's who I pledge an oath to. I'm pledge an oath to what you're talking about because then that's when you sell your soul. Now, Miss Malone, I'm going to address this real quick. If something happened, that person should have been dealt with by the law, by your parents, and by the law. And if not, then we apologize to you for the fact that that didn't, and you do deserve the fact that you should receive some justice for something that happened to you. It should not have happened. Now, if people hold persons like Shriners and everybody else above the law, they do the same thing with Catholic priests. And of all of knowing that Catholic priests have done these things, right? Then they should be arrested too, not moved from diocese to diocese. So I'm going to give everybody, if you desire to do so, a little homework assignment. I want you all to define the divine nine, and I also want you to define and look up all of those families, prominently wealthy families that had anything to do with any war, or just prominently wealthy families. I've given two: the Rothschild and the Bilderbergs. Those are two. They're definitely more, but there are families that are attached to the divine nine as well. Well, you know what? We might have to go look for them, and if we find them, you know, yeah, there we go. And each and every one of those books, and the one that I couldn't find on my bookshelf was "Behold a Pale Horse" by William Cooper. Mm. That's a must-have too, because he exposed a lot of different things that were going on in the government. Um, where you can't be worried about his grandbabies if he done something to you. You got to pay for that and not wait till for karma to do it. But anyway, I don't want to digress. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, baby. No, you can leave them over there. We're good. I grab them.
All right.
Yeah. So Coakley calls out the boule. Then he mysteriously gets sick, and something, and he dies in 2012. And that was a big shock to everybody because it wasn't that we saw the progression of his illness. It was, what's going on, bro? We see you, and then all of a sudden we hear he's gone. Now, like I said, the boule are supposed to be these groups of people that are the gatekeepers, right?
Mm.
So I'm going to pose a question. I want people to give an answer. And I kind of have an idea what the answer is going to possibly be, or answers are going to be. But I want to see if I'm right. Do we feel or know or think or believe that there are gatekeepers not only here, but in most places where Black people run or are a part of governments, and they run mayors, whatever, and they run certain cities? I want to see what y'all think. Thank you very much, Ms. Yolanda Corbett. Our kind of people. Well, okay. Well, I'm going to have to write that down. So, what is that book about? Real quick, if you can give me a quick summary of that book. Mm. Well, if he was probably connected, then that might be the case. Fact that nothing happened, so that's unfortunate that that happened to you, and it was caused by somebody who was in his low self. So we apologize.
I mean, you still saying gatekeeping, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at, according to Cambridge Dictionary, gatekeeping is defined as the activity of trying to control who gets particular resources, power, or opportunity, and who does not. Mm. Similarly, Merriam-Webster notes that a gatekeeper is a person who controls access.
Right.
So,
So do we feel that like let's just take our city.
okay,
I'm not gonna say little city.
okay.
Do we feel that we have gatekeepers here?
I do believe it is gatekeepers.
Okay. Do we think and feel that they're okay? See, there we go.
Oh, Yolanda, she said it's
Yeah.
about black upper class.
Well, okay. That's interesting. But I want to get that. I'm gonna check that book out. Lawrence Otis Graham. So do we figure that hold on. Like what's going on there? Well, okay. We're gonna address that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But do we think that that's what's happening here?
Yes, I do, and I could kind of speak on it about far as that gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you an example.
Okay.
Like that 97.4 million came in,
Mm-hmm.
and we can even go back to the 100 million that came in with the concerned pastors or whatever. Money coming in, people with nonprofits. Certain people get money and certain people not.
Okay.
You know, like far as these houses getting fixed up, like, you know, it went from 100 houses to like, but certain people were able to get their houses fixed up, and they're saying how it's being picked. Like that to me is like, well, you know, I mean, like, if just being okay, better, yeah, I even go with these jobs that they doing. They want to do these summer jobs, right?
Right.
But we heard some of the people who running the program was hiring their kids.
So that's folks call that nepotism, right? Where you're hiring your
Right.
kids or your family or whatever, instead of making sure that everybody has a very clear opportunity to receive a job.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that wouldn't probably be a good example.
No, that's a great example.
Yeah. But I still looking at far as like this, far as how to like these nonprofits. We had a brother on yesterday. I mean, the day before Sunday, when he was talking about how he didn't get nothing, no help with his nonprofit. Remember, Eric had that stack with everybody can, far as with the, far as for the opera money, like what would they need?
Yeah.
What happened to that stack that Eric had? But it seemed like that none of them people. But we seen people come in, skip the line, didn't even have to go through the process, and was able to come through when it supposedly was closed.
Okay. Okay. Wow. All right. So now, if we have gatekeepers, I'm going to tell you one of the, according to Steve Koch, and now I'm recalling the conversation. He would always ask if somebody was in a fraternity or sorority, you would know whether it was gatekeeper. When you get a chance to, and I'm eventually, and I know that you may know how to do it. And if not, then we got to figure out how to add clips.
I know how to do that.
Okay, well then we could do that because I wanted to add.
Yeah, I can do that
on Tuesday, not Sunday. Sunday we got a little bit different topic.
I got
Sunday.
you.
But on Tuesday, when we're doing Truthful Tuesday, I want us to be able to add clips of Steve Coakley when he talks about the boule,
I'll
and the
definitely put
Bishop
that
Larry
together.
Okay, cool. And
I
Bishop
definitely
Larry Gathers,
I get to
because
set that
y'all
up.
have to, you know, don't we get? I got to find an old phone, bro, so we can have a call in too. I said I was going to do that before,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. Um. Okay. So
You see what Yolanda said, don't you? That's from the
you have an
DC.
overflow of gate. Oh, definitely. Yeah, but you would have an overflow of gatekeepers in DC.
I'm talking about the last one. She said, let's be clear, if you're not familiar with the caste system, then you're not really familiar with the system that we are living in. 10 for
That's
your
true.
hat.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Because you have to be in the circle in order to be able to get anything. And the
Fact.
sad part is what now it used to be that you would get an opportunity on your own merit.
Fact.
Now it's I have to know who I know in order for me to be able to get in. Not that you're good at what you do. Merit, it's almost merit base is gone. It's almost, oh, I know such and such. Let me holler at Mick. Hey, Mick, you gotta, yeah, come on, brother Elliott. We got you.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your connection to the group above? Right? So it's one thing to be a gatekeeper, it's another thing to be a watchdog.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So if you're a gatekeeper, that means you have access to some information that the watchdog don't. The watchdog may be able to get you in, or I get my son in, I get your son in, or whatever, you get a summer job. But a gatekeeper is something, and that's someone different. A gatekeeper get access to information that most other people don't. And you see them keep their mouth closed, because if not, there's another lightly veiled threat that's on the backside that says something might happen. You're right, little mom, and that's what it is. It's not what you know, but who you know. And if you're not a elbow rubber, hobnobber, whatever, then guess what you do is you don't get the opportunity.
Facts.
Right? Because the thing is you got to go and you got to get in bed with these people.
That's what I think people don't understand. Like, I get it, and don't get me wrong. I know Dustin ain't the cup of tea for everybody.
Right. You don't have to be.
Yeah,
but he's just giving people dots to connect.
Facts.
And that's the most important thing. Because I didn't put, until he said it in the first show that I caught, and I think I missed it on Friday. The first show that I caught, we was talking about Arthur Bush and this and that and other. Now you got Chris Swanson and all this other stuff and these other judges and whatever. Now, in my own personal family case where I had to go to court about my son, which was dumb. When I saw all of the lawyers talking, I didn't know I didn't have a chance.
Facts.
Talking to the judge, they talking about dinner or whatever. You're really not sitting there talking to me. You ain't gonna be. There's no justice in this case for me because I don't know y'all. And I know two lawyers in this city, two, that I can say that if I make a phone call or I go knock on their door at the office, they're gonna be honest with me and be honest and give me an honest advice about stuff. And I would give their names, but I won't because I don't have permission to. Right?
I respect that.
Yeah. But I know that I can get a real truthful, honest answer from either one of them. We've known each other since college, so 30-some years.
I can respect that, though.
Yeah. Now, if I get permission, I'll mention them next time. Right? But that's it. And gatekeepers are going to have you crawl in bed if you want something.
Sure it is. But see, that's what I think. That's why I did like far as Dustin. I know I caught a lot of flack because some people don't like it, but you know what? And it's true. Don't get me wrong. I met Sheriff Swanson. I'm gonna put respect on his name. A lot of I met Devin Layton. A lot of these people I have met through the homie, the fam Winters. Like, she didn't introduce me to these people. I've been able to meet these people. But I think with us, what Dustin's saying, a lot of people say behind closed doors.
That's the gatekeeper.
Yeah, you know, a lot
So
of people they say this, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not being funny or nothing. I'm being straight up. A lot of the stuff that I've been hearing Dustin say, this ain't the first time we done heard it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But they be scared to say it. I think what Dustin doing, because it's people who wanted to hit, like, everybody is not going along. Don't get me wrong. I met him, Sheriff Swanson, always been respectable and straight. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
been cool with us. But just because he might be cool with us, he might, other people might don't see him that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like we trying to look through everybody through our lenses.
And you can't do that. But you also have to know how people are moving. And the thing that they didn't like about what Dustin did, well, many people did, and I still haven't had an opportunity to sit down and study
Right.
the dots that he opened up. And that's very important, because if you get people that are sit there and I'm sitting on the bench and you know, no knock against nobody. So I don't want nobody taking no sort of way.
For sure.
And what he's showing is, hey, if this happens and you got this judge that did this and this person did this, and well, you know, he's laying out dots. Whether you accept it or not is your choice.
Right. Because you know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of us attacking our own.
But see, that's where you have the gatekeepers give everybody else crumbs to fight over. Meanwhile, I got a slice of pie behind my back.
Right, but that's what it is. We can go tear the mayor up and down all day long. But who behind the mayor?
That okay.
That's the thing.
Now we talking.
But see, they don't want to do that. Most people want to go. Good evening, Maria Carter. See, most people will be like, oh, we ain't gonna say that. We ain't gonna do that. You know how the Negroes is, man. Let's just be real.
Right.
They'll sit up there like, we'll go hard at each other, but you won't go hard at the man.
Right. Well, see, this is what Malcolm said. They'll get a black man to kill a black man and say it was a black man.
Right.
Okay. So what we've done is we've learned how to chew each other up and fight each other and spit each other out. Meanwhile, we're not looking for the gatekeeper or what's behind the gate.
Right. Right. We won't do it. It's just, man, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like how we seeing a lot of this stuff being brought back up.
Yeah.
But him connecting the dots, I get it. Sometimes people don't want to hear stuff that, that's been out there. But like I say, he doing stuff that people only want to talk about when the camera's off. But he doing it when the camera's on.
Right. But see, here's the thing. Why is it that people don't want to know? I remember the Katzman family.
Right.
Right. I remember that. I remember the deal with KWA in the water, and then how it got switched back to GL something or other. But I didn't know anything about people sitting on the board for another city, because you're sitting on the board. Now, that may be legal or illegal to do based upon, I can sit on this board, I can sit on the board, whatever. See, for me, I don't know whether they want me to sit on any board, because if I think that it's going to be a detriment to the people that you're trying to serve, it's problematic. And I'm going to say something about it.
Facts.
So that's no different than what I told a while back about somebody coming to me, knocking on the door, asking me about a vote for school board. And when I asked them what their platform was, they didn't have one, but they got elected anyway because they were popular with people. Not saying that they didn't do a good job.
Right.
But if I ask you what your agenda is, if somebody would come, hey, brother Elliott X, what I'm gonna use that, little mama, if that's fine with you. If what's your agenda, and I don't have one, then we shouldn't have nobody watching and paying attention.
Facts.
Don't want nobody. So apparently we're doing a good enough job that people at 6 o'clock, instead of going to eat or doing whatever else they could be doing, good evening, brother Felder, or what else they could be doing, they here listening to us and they're learning something.
Facts.
That's my agenda. Now, that don't mean I don't get out there and work too. I just don't let people know what kind of work I do. Anyway.
I was reading that too from
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah.
I can tell when some pop up. That's what I be doing when winters be like, because the chat they be on it and you be sitting up there.
Yeah.
But
Oh, read definitely.
yeah, it's crazy though. Like some of the stuff that we seeing is like, I don't care. Don't get me wrong, and I will say this: it's some things that Dr. Weaver done good. It's some things she didn't do right. You know, you got people that was for her and people that was against her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, it's like what we did, and I got to go back to Reverend Threlkel. The reason he said he don't like recalls.
Right.
He said because he seen it when they did it to Woodrow.
Right. And
He
they did
said,
it horribly.
yeah, he said,
right.
man, we in there. He said he looking. He said they got us geeked up. Yeah, we finna get Woodrow. I'll do this and that. He said, and look what we did.
Yep. Blew it.
He said, look what we did.
Yep. You crucified the wrong person.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that a lot of times what people don't understand is what the gatekeepers above the level 1 gatekeeper.
Facts.
Right. The gatekeeper level 2.
Yeah.
They'll throw out the person that they want to have be attacked by the watchdogs.
Right.
Meanwhile, they making moves over here that you don't know nothing about. And then when you see the move later on, you go, oh man, we messed up. Well, so the legitimacy of removing someone from a position, and I like what Miss Deborah Luna said here, a demo manager, also a real estate company owner. Well, that's a what do you call it? What do you call it?
What,
we have a conflict of interest. Right. So therefore, if I want the land, then I'm gonna go ahead on and then I can buy the land once it's demoed. And I can build something on top of it. Right. And we can clearly see with this so-called master plan that they come up with years ago, how they're trying to develop everything downtown on purpose. But they said that at the beginning. Right. So the watchers at level 2, they're still covering up who's the dog calling the shots.
Right.
They'll take the fall for that.
Oh yeah, most perfectly. Good evening, Tony Terry tapping in from Miami-Dade County 305. But it just showed you, but they also take on the lack of us not understanding,
and that's the ignorance of people. Right, is what allows them to move in the shadows and step out into the daylight.
Facts.
And then you don't think, hey, Brad, what's going on? Hey, bro, listen, at the Juneteenth over there at Brennan,
Max Brent. I mean,
yeah,
I know
over at Brennan,
yeah,
Brennan Center.
Oh, the one on the south side.
Yeah, on the south side.
Gotcha.
They had an exhibit on the inside, right? And they had all of these people in there, and I jokingly asked one of the brothers, I said, "Where's my picture at?" Jokingly, but I also saw people over there. They didn't speak to me, and that's cool. You know what I'm talking about. And it ain't like you could ignore me. Not you. It wasn't you.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking,
Yeah, I already know you're talking about.
It ain't like you didn't see me. It ain't like you didn't hear me. Because I was loud on purpose. To make sure that, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all good? You know how I do it.
For sure.
Real loud for no reason, kind of country ghetto, if you want to call it that. But I did it loud on purpose to make sure that I was heard when you looked around. And you look up in a quick glance and you look on going about your way. And then when I was approaching, they was walking off. Not a problem. Not a problem. And that's okay. At the end of the day, baby, everybody that is not in the upper echelon of what's going on, everybody's a fall guy, right?
Facts.
Everybody's a fall guy. And I know this lays the foundation for where we're going to go. So this is our first show on Truthful Tuesday.
Facts.
We ain't gonna hold y'all long because it's time to eat. But I want you
to
come. Definitely. Because we're gonna dig deeper into the connections between these money families that Dr. Uh, Bishop Gaithers talks about and these other fraternal orders that he mentions that are the gatekeepers for those people that are monies, that have the monies. And most of his clips are pretty short, 6, 8, 10 minutes, or whatever.
I got you. I'm finna get the clipping up this weekend so we can be ready for next week.
Yep. So, and we definitely want to hit Coakley, and because this is a big, and what I'll do is out of the first book that none dare call it conspiracy. I'll pull out family names in there, and we'll start to lay stuff out and make connections, because this is all political and it's about money. So, but it's also about color and power.
Explain that to him again.
Okay. So if we cannot sit around here, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, don't take it, because I like Trevor, I like Dustin, they bout it because they know that there's something wrong. And I don't care what color you are, black, white, brown, purple, green, yellow. If wrong is wrong.
Facts.
Okay. If anybody's doing something, what did Dr. King say? Regardless of my view of him, he said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Injustice to one group is just as bad as injustice to all the groups.
Facts.
But we're the ones that are in control more than what we think, because what we're not doing, okay, how do we get a solution? Okay, let me explain something to you. I'm going to do this real quick. That's my girl, right?
Yeah.
The one who gave me the name. She finally put an X on there. She do that?
No,
that was Sister Sherry.
Sherry, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's a solution. Number one, let's say you want me to run for mayor, and you think that I'm a worthy candidate to run for mayor or a ward position. Let's start there, because we don't want to get too far, because people may think I'm serious. And I know Mama Deborah Luna would be like, yeah, you better go ahead on. Well, thank you, Miss Malone. We appreciate that. So then if I say, hey, look, I'm going to run for this particular council seat. I'm coming to you to knock on your door and ask you for what your needs are. And I want to know what your needs are. Then it is incumbent on you as the constituents to make sure you hold me to my word. And that's what we're not doing. It's not wait to go to council. That's the wrong place. Okay. That's the wrong place. The place that you do it is that you call a public forum in your community where your ward is and demand that your ward person comes there to put their feet to the fire. Now, they can choose not to, then you expose them. Now, if they don't have a hidden agenda, then they'll show up.
Facts.
Then they'll show up. No problem. I'm going to come down there and I'm going to answer your question to the best of my ability. Even if that means I'm sitting down there for 5, 6, I don't care how long it takes. I need y'all to shut up and understand that I know what I'm doing. But I should have did that in the first place. So what I would do personally is, okay, we're going to get a group of residents together. We're going to open up the school, or we're going to be over here, wherever. Or even if we stand at a park and we're calling out our person, and we would like for you to come down here and talk with us about what's going on, because apparently we can't really talk in council.
No, I didn't take that from him.
Right? So if we're going to take that and we're going to put it here, we're going to have it in the park. You already know where I'm coming from. You already know. Absolutely. So back in the day, this is what we used to do. So now what's happened is that the person that's supposed to represent you feels that they're no longer part of the community, and we have not reined them in. Y'all here have heard me talk about Jack Minor, and who has since passed on, all the time. It wasn't Mr. Minor. When I got older, I would call him Mr. Jack, because he's older than me, and that's out of respect. But let us have a snowstorm. Let us have a tornado or a bad thunderstorm or whatever, and trees was down. He was out there where we lived at, not serving some parts and not the other part. He would drive his truck around. We cut up trees, move trees, drag them out the way. He called the tree people, hey, come pick these trees up. At night, that stuff was done. Power line down, sitting over there, hey, consumers, right? Okay, y'all gonna come and you're gonna get this done now. Well, we got crews over there. I don't give a damn about where your other crews are. Get a damn crew out here, and I heard him. Get a crew out there and do it now. As a matter of fact, he used the phone in our house. We had a landline. And if that was down, he'd go over there on Court Street and make them come out. Get these lines up tonight. I want my people to have their stuff up now. I remember earlier this week where in the heat that we had some lines down, and Sister Winters pointed out that that would have never, under his watch, would have never happened. Under the watch of the old guard, that would have never happened. But see, people now are money hungry.
Facts.
And power hungry. But what we don't realize is we have the power. Because we don't have to vote for them. Don't be trying to put me out there, Miss Good. I hear you. Listen, Miss Odie. My fault. I ain't got my glasses on, baby. Don't put me out there. Right. Used to have parks and forth. Never. Every park was clean. And everybody was very clear that you understood that you're going to put your stuff in a trash can over there because it got picked up on Friday, just like everybody, or whatever day the trash day was.
Facts.
Right? So now that you have gatekeepers, right? Now that you have these gatekeepers, they're not concerned about that. They're just concerned about what they can get out of the deal before the deal run up. Let me give y'all one more thing, then we're going to shut it down for the day. Okay, y'all got to look this up. What is a whistleblower? What is a whistleblower? Yep, yeah, there you go. I see you over there. Pull your phone out. No, and you're right. They weren't concerned about money. They were concerned about doing a job for the people, because the other part about that is that you didn't have all of that money. Nope, not from the inside. Dig a little deeper, baby. You have all those people who were working for the people, and they were true servants of the people, instead of people that are now serving their own interest. And what we have to do as a solution is, if we're clear that people are serving their own interest, you don't put them in again, find somebody else. Somebody that won't be, girl, Miss Corbett. That's funny.
Chief in DC, too, good people.
Oh, okay. When I come to DC, probably around the next holiday, they got a drum and dance conference there, Conqueron. I'm gonna look you up.
She was just here. Her and Anna was up here from DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed
up
them.
here.
Okay. All right. So a whistleblower, let's dig a little deeper in the term. If I run across a memo that says Uncle Mick and Auntie Winters got a deal going on and I ain't part of it, and they ain't let me in, so you got to look at it a little bit deeper. And that memo come across my desk accidentally, and I go to Uncle Mick and Auntie Winters, and they not letting me get in on the deal. Okay, and I'm gonna go tell. I'm gonna blow the whole thing up. Now, you're right. Sometimes they don't end up making it out of the office, but they're also, the other people are part of the guard. They just happen to get caught. So all of this stuff that we're talking about ties in together. Okay, I'm gonna try and make it happen. You know, if that means I have to fly out there, I mean it. Okay. Those things make sense. So this is the foundation for where we're going. I'm gonna make sure that he sends that to me so I can check it out. So this lays the foundation for where we're headed with Truthful Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we thank you all for spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. Get those books, especially the first one, if you can find it, that None Dare Call It Conspiracy. You really want that book. You really, really want that book. And I'll make sure that I catch up with Miss Anna's public speaking and go from there. All right. Any other words, big bro?
No, that was it right there, good brother.
Okay, this is the first one. So, get your stuff together.
Because we doing boule right with Stephen Coakley and the other fella.
Yep.
I will have them clips for you. I'm gonna get to working on that. Me and Trevor get to working on that no later than Thursday.
Yes, sir.
So we'll have it up.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay, family. We appreciate y'all spending time with us today. Peace.
Peace.
We out.